passengers, this is SNY's Keith Hernandez, and this is a Queens-bound 7 Express train, the fastest way to Citi Field to see your Metsies.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the 7 Express podcast. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another 7 Express Live. I am your guy, David from Top Bunk Sports. I got my guy, we solo dolo today, AP. How we feeling, bro?
Well, it's snowing outside.
Yeah.
It's a blizzard outside, but I don't got to go to work, so it works for me.
Right. Well, me and AP kind of work in the same. We work in a school, so every kind of the days off that we get are kind of the same. He's a teacher, I'm a janitor, so we both got the day off tomorrow. So thank you, Mom Donnie, as much as people.
Salute to you, sir. That's my mayor. Until you start messing up, and then I don't know you.
Right. Shout out to you and your Astoria apartment that you're still living in. Anyways, yeah, man. Listen, we just wanted to kind of go over the first 2 games of spring training, kind of give you guys an update of how we're feeling. Obviously, we don't have Chris with us today. Chris is dealing with something personal.
Chris is somewhere in the blizzard. God bless you, Chris. Get home safe.
Chris is out here.
Leave some like some chestnuts or something, like, so you can try to find your way home.
Right. Chris is out here struggling while we in the toasty inside.
I am nice and warm. And by the way, because we live in New York City apartments, you will hear my family who will be part of this broadcast too. So shout out to all my family that's going to be super annoying throughout. You may see cameos. My son may come any second now talking about, hey, did you know Bad Guys 3 is in the works? I'm going to be like, I did not know that, son. Thank you. By the way, Super Mario World is coming out April 1st, so he's going to probably be talking about that too. So shout out to the Mario brothers and all of that.
AP son, he's always a special guest here. It don't matter what we're doing, he's always a special guest here. So shout out.
I mean, I don't know. Do you want me to bring him on so he could talk to you about the Mario Brothers movie? We could talk about that and break down when it comes out.
You guys can have your kids watch them as we discuss. Certain things.
No. My son is under the assumption that the Mario Brothers have planned this whole thing out. Oh, there we go. We got a special alert.
As you guys hear, emergency alert. Mamdani has issued a state of emergency. A travel ban is in effect beginning at 9 p.m.
So you got no excuses not to watch the show. Welcome aboard the 7 Express Live.
Exactly.
You got nothing on TV.
Yes. Vehicles are restricted from New York City roads.
Be safe out there and make smart decisions. Like, this is not worth going out there. So sit back and listen to us babble about the Mets 2 spring training games as best as we can.
Please, man. But let's get straight into it. First of all, happy that Mets baseball is back. I know people tend to give it a different opinion of here we go again. You never know what Mets you're gonna get this year, but with so much going on in the off season and so much speculating and opinions, and Pete Alonso being a topic because now he's having a home run derby to start his spring training and everybody misses him and all that. We're just happy that baseball is back. Yesterday the Mets kind of started out spring training the best way they started out 2025 last year, and that was going cold from the offensive side. So there really wasn't much offense for the first game of spring training, but hey, who are we if we don't judge spring training, right, AP?
I mean, that's true. Also, shout out to those of you wondering about my lighting. The reason why it's like this is because I'm obviously running from the law, so I don't need like the powers that be to see me. I'm like you said, I'm really happy about baseball being back. This is the signal. The irony playing a part here today is that the spring is coming. So we know that the weather's going to get better and we have baseball to look forward to. But hearing the SNY jingle coming on and hearing Gary, Keith, and Ron talking baseball is just like, another baseball season's here. So it's just like spring. Spring is back. We have new hope. We have a brand new team. There's a lot of things that Met fans are going to be looking forward to, and I think that the first spring training game just signals like that new hope that we all have as fans. Like, are we gonna see this team do something that we haven't seen in 40 years? So that was the first step towards it happened yesterday when the Mets took the field against ironically the team that eliminated them from last year. So it was an interesting just dynamic seeing Bichette at third base for the first time, and immediately with the fan base and how they reacted to his plays and such. So I don't know, like it's just really interesting to see how all these new pieces are going to start kind of meshing together, and just seeing what's gonna work and what's not, and how they improve upon some things throughout the spring training before the regular season starts.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll get straight into I think the only highlight of the play that everybody was impressed by in the first game. Before we get to that, shout out to Jay Fern in the comments. He said, yo, what's up, fellas, from all the way from Texas, where it's nice and warm. So let me get this straight. You came in here, you said hi, appreciate it. No, let's go Mets, no nothing. You wanted to throw it in our. You see, this is the people we gotta worry about, AP. The ones that want to make fun of us because we stuck in the crib with some cold ass snow, while this guy's out here in his pool smoking his cigar, watching his TV.
I just want to say, I hope he chokes a little bit on his iced tea.
Yo, son.
We about to get 2 feet of snow, and he's talking about warm ass Texas. Well, yeah, I mean, but the funny thing is though that during the broadcast yesterday, I do think that I remember hearing the radio and how he was saying, well, it's 87 degrees. I know what's coming tomorrow, but I just got a report. I was like, damn, everybody has better weather than us right now. So I mean,
everybody
can't
makes
hate.
Everybody makes
it's just crappy weather here. It's
right,
just crappy weather. But
let's get straight into that highlight. Shout out to the youngin himself, AJ Ewing, for making an incredible throw yesterday. I mean, I know it wasn't nothing crazy, but again, what spring training is all about, looking into the young prospects that we have developing in our farm, the opportunities that they get in spring training to show what they can showcase and possibly get that opportunity to make the opening day roster. So let's look at this nice throw by the one and only AJ Ewing.
Certain players, as the runner goes, and the throw to second goes into center field. Shade will take off to third. Here's Ewing's throw on a hop to third base, and he's out. AJ Ewing. He told you he can play center field. Shade took a gamble, and a perfect one-out strike eliminates him at third base.
So, I mean, that, like I said, that was the only highlight from yesterday's game. Yesterday's game was a dub.
I mean, we could talk straight away.
I'm talking about just straight, like there was nothing happening. Like,
no, I think the one thing that everybody talked about was the Bichette throw, and I think that's something to talk about, because everybody has talked ad nauseum at this point about the Bichette's arm and his. I guess him making all these errors at shortstop, and what this experiment is going to look like. I got a chance to double, because I saw that John Harper had talked about it initially, because I didn't see the play. So John Harper mentioned it and said, "Oh, that like that it looked like it was an error, blah blah blah." So I went back and looked at it. He later talked about how a scout said that it wasn't a terrible throw, but it was, his arm is still an issue. So I looked at the throw. The throw wasn't bad. The throw was maybe a little bit offline, but any serviceable first baseman makes that play. Like you gotta help your third baseman too. That is a long throw across. So you gotta help out your third baseman as much as you can. And I just felt like the throw wasn't on target, no, but it's a play that should have been made. I think that the throw, if people are saying that the man doesn't have a strong arm, I mean, he was almost on the grass on the outfield, and he was able to get it across the diamond. The only issues that I'm seeing so far that get me a little nervous are the little things that he has to clean up in terms of keeping the ball in front of him during the practice. Like, I want him to be able to, use his body to block some of those balls, and also the double tapping, because the double tapping, you could lose plays with the double tap. So I'd like him to get rid of just double tapping or whatever. But those are things that I'm sure that they could clean up. But that throw, I wasn't like that. That throw didn't make me think like, oh my God, well, he has no arm. If anything, it made me think like, oh man, he could gun it across the field. He just has to get a little bit of help. So hopefully he could get that, and he could keep working on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, again, the kid is still young. Kid has an electric bat. I mean, he could play the outfield. I mean, him and Carson Benz are kind of right there. I know the Mets kind of value Carson Benz just a little bit more right now, but AJ Ewing is making his way up, and he's definitely a good sight to see, and I can't wait to see more of him as spring training progresses. But speaking of Carson Bench, he was in the lineup today. He got his opportunity. Everybody was kind of excited for that, and yeah, man. I mean, if I look at his thing right now, because I try to find his stats, for some reason it didn't come up, so I don't know exactly what he did. I mean, the game was kind of televised, kind of, but yeah.
Can we talk about that for a sec though? Because this is the thing that annoys me the most about this. I don't know about baseball and the way that it's being run. I think it's an absolute shame that baseball has leadership that thinks that we don't want to see spring training games, that we have to go through all these hurdles to watch the prospects. I think one of the things that baseball has done really well the last couple of years is really try to promote some of their prospects coming up. And I think that it's an absolute shame that some of the only chances that we get to see them is through spring training. And instead of being able to see them, they get like today, SNY, nowhere to be found. We had no way to find this. The only way that you would be able to have access to this game is if you had the Gotham app. So how many apps do people have to go through to watch your product? That baseball has not done itself any favors. This year alone, you're going to have Peacock, Prime, MLB TV, which MLB TV will be behind, they're saying, two money walls. So I don't understand why baseball is making this so impossible to watch games. Like, you should have thought about, okay, how do we make, if you want to do streaming, fine, but at least think of one streaming service. It doesn't really make any sense to me what they're doing. I'm not a fan of this at all.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, listen, I get that when it comes to the streaming services and cable and all that, I get you want to give people more access, because nowadays it's like, cable is expensive, and not everybody's gonna pay for separate packages to watch their favorite team or whatever. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, listen, like, nobody's gonna be paying for different apps. Nobody's gonna be going to different streaming services just to watch a game. Like, I listen, MLB, I understand that they want to get with the times. Sometimes it's not always good to get with the times. Sometimes you need to just stay where you're at. Seriously, it's too much for people to consume. Nobody has the time to start paying for these streaming services just for that. Again, you have people that are probably gonna pay for Peacock just to see some of the Mets games that are not going to be streamed on SNY and that are only going to be streamed on Peacock and NBC because they just want to watch the game. And then what happens? They have the subscription for the entire year. They forget about it and they forget to cancel it. Then it calculates on the charges that you have to already pay. And again, you got to be more responsible. I understand it, but at the same time, nobody's going to keep looking at that 24/7. Like it's just annoying. It's ridiculous. Manford once again with another stupid decision. Don't understand this brother's thinking when it comes to making this decision. I mean, him and Adam Silver need to sit in a box and discuss what they're doing wrong with both of their leagues, because honestly, that's what it is. And I hate to bring in basketball, but honestly, Adam Silver is the 2.0 of Rob Manford, and it's just an honest fact.
No, everything. Like I said, I agree with you, and I think that it's a shame. Like I think that whatever, it's not going to change right now, and I think that these are things that they're going to have to really discuss because if you're really trying to promote the game and you're trying to promote the younger generation of player that's coming up, you have to do a better job of getting um these 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 players out like into like the spotlight. And right now, one of the better ways to do that is to get them these at bats on live television so people could see them.
Right.
Like we were excited as Met fans, we were excited to see Carson Bench right now, who's competing for a right field spot. So a lot of us were able to figure out ways, but it shouldn't be so hard. Like especially people that don't have the ability or the availability to get onto these different streams. So I don't know, but um talking about today's game, that was one of the highlights to me was watching him, swing. And I gotta say, I like his swing. He has a really interesting swing. I think it has potential for power, and I think it's a free flowing swing. So it's not like he's it doesn't feel like he puts a lot of effort in the swing. But I think when he makes contact, I think that guy is gonna have a couple of home runs. I think he has a shot to hit like 20. I really do.
Right. I mean, the power that he develops from the left side, I think it's really enamored. And then you're also talking about a guy that not can only he not only gives you power and gives you consistent contact, but covers a lot of outfield. And I know the team kind of looks at him more as a corner outfielder. I know a lot of fans do as well. So within that right field, because obviously it was originated that he was going to play a little bit of center field, and they wanted him at left field, and obviously Juan Soto kind of stopped that by saying he wants to play left every day. So you put him in right field, and you kind of give him an opportunity where the lane is open for this kid. I mean, David Stearns was talking about this kid and giving this kid an ample amount of opportunity even before spring training started. So the red carpet was laid out for this kid. It's just a matter of, is he going to get it going in spring training? Is he going to be 100% ready and confident enough to make that opening day roster to show and back up what David Stearns has been talking about when it comes to this kid? And I think he does have the consistent talent to do it. Again, it just matters of what is he going to give you spring training wise, because again, if he kind of flunks in spring training, you got to make some thinking. You don't want to just put him out there in opening day where the pressure's on him already because of what your president of baseball operations put on him, and then it's like, yeah, well, he sucked in spring training, but let's put him in the opening day roster and just throw him into the wolves. No, if that's the case, if he struggles in spring training where he's being viewed the most right now, keep him in AAA, let him develop a hot start to start the year, and then when he looks like he's comfortable, then you bring him up. And again, I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but again, he's still young. He hasn't performed in this type of magnitude, and you need him to be as comfortable as he can be.
And I think that shout out to David Stearns because I think he created enough of a competition that I think that Talkman that he brought in. I think that we have Melendez who he has there. We have Beatty who's going to try to play out there. We have I think enough of I don't know, like enough coverage there where we could say that if bench isn't ready, that I'm not going to go into the year worried about that position because I think we have capable players there that could, hold down the fort until maybe he is ready. So, getting his feet wet, see what he could do, get the kid out there. I love seeing him, competing. We had Vientos today at first base, which I thought was interesting too, because I think that that's a position where I like to see Vientos see if he could thrive there too, because I want to give him as many opportunities as possible to, make sure that we could utilize him and have him be a really competent part of the team.
Right. I mean, speaking of Vientos, because he did, like AP said, he wasn't allowed to play batting second, and he was playing first base. They did ask him in terms of DH, in terms of playing first, in terms of playing third, how he feels about making the switches or whatever, and he did speak about it in a post game interview that I want to show you guys as we go. So here we go. I'm gonna show you guys right now.
Seems like you have an opportunity to get a lot of reps over there during the regular season as a backup for Polanco. It sounds like he's going to get a lot of DH opportunities. And is that something you're comfortable with, not just being out there in an emergency, but kind of on a semi-regular basis?
Yeah, definitely. Wherever they want me to play, wherever I get the opportunity, whether it's third, first, DH, wherever it is they want me to do, I'm fine with it. I just want to help the team win and do my best job for it.
Seems like you have an opportunity to get a lot of...
AP, let me ask you a question in terms of Mark Vientos, because I know he is a staple of conversation when it comes to this Mets team. Where do you see Mark Vientos' success this year compared to the last 2 years that he's had as a New York Met?
I think that Vientos right now, obviously he's always been an offensive player. I think if he's gonna have success, it's gonna be from the bat. I think that the Mets got to give him the first crack at designated hitter. I think that he has to have the designated position. What the Mets could also ultimately do, if they feel that Polanco isn't cut out for that, is give Beatty and him the opportunity to be their first baseman. I think that if you could give him, if he could claim one spot here, so he could get a solid amount of playing time, because honestly, he's a slugger. The guy needs to get reps. All the sluggers in baseball nowadays are hitting about 230 to 250, but they play every day and they hit you these bombs. But you're not going to get these home runs if he's on the bench. So you've got to figure out a way to get his bat in the lineup and get him going. I think the best way to do that is give him the designated hitter spot and let him see if he can run with it. He's too young to give up on him. Hitting close to 30 home runs is not a joke. Like, it's not that you don't get lucky and hit 30. So I think that we've got to give him every opportunity possible for him to do it. You don't want to end up in the witness protection program like me and buried. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be hiding from your enemies. You want him to be out there full force and front and center. So I want him to get that shot. And I want that for Beatty too. Like, the thing that's weird to me is that I feel like Beatty's bat plays Beatty's glove plays up to it. So I think that's what we need. I think we need to see Beatty on the field somewhere, but we'll see what we could do with that.
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of Mark Vientos, I just think you gotta be in he's in a good position, in my opinion, in terms of given an opportunity from the offensive side. I know defensively he is a question mark. He's always been a question mark throughout his career. People that are saying, oh, he can't play a first base position. I mean, he's played it in AAA when he was there. He was given an opportunity. He was playing it. So there is no excuse for him, for anybody to say, oh, he can't play the position. He absolutely can play the position. I think people, what it is with Mark Vientos is that people get their feelings, because this is a guy that they worry about from only one perspective, right? He's only a one perspective player when they want to judge him, instead of looking at it from a standpoint of, yes, he can't play defense, but he's a great offensive hitter, right? They compare him and Beatty because those are the two young guys that the Mets kind of put on a high pedestal, and it's like Beatty's more versatile, 100%. But then again, Beatty really hasn't had an outbreak season to basically put over Mark Vientos. To me, it doesn't make no sense. I think they're in the same level. Yes, Beatty's a little bit more versatile, and I understand that. But like you said, AP, Mark Vientos is still young enough to still be given a chance. You shouldn't just get away from him because he's only a one-dimensional player. Like, he's still
and And this lineup could, like, everybody talks about Pete Alonso. And if you really want to replace the power that you lose with Pete, Vientos is right there. I think that you just got to figure out a way to make sure that the kid is given every opportunity to unleash that power. I think that we're gonna have to really, and honestly, before you just give up on him, you got to figure out a way to make sure that like you know what you got.
Correct. Absolutely. Before we get into the next thing, let's get to some more comments. Villain in the building, shout out to you. He said just needs a voice scrambler. I think he was talking about Carson Bench.
No, he's talking about me like hiding out. I'm trying to hide my identity.
Yeah,
New York Mets, let's go.
Hey man, if anybody likes AP's lighting from the last episode, go in the comments and just let him know. We need to know about. We need to let him know.
I
about
mean,
this.
if you guys want, like donate all your light fixtures. Send it to Top. He'll get it to me,
Yes.
and we could do it.
Yeah, we could definitely put some LED lights right there. Put it right above you, right there, just so it could.
Yo, I mean, imagine this space here, like this whole space with like neon lights or something.
Perfect. You'll be much better.
No, but for the rest of the show, I'm going to be talking like this. I think that the Mets will be really strong right now.
He's on lockdown right now, man. So
that's why I'm locked up. I'm wearing the orange.
Yeah,
I'm locked up,
and they won't let him out. Yep, that's exactly what it is. My guy Chris, who couldn't make it today, he goes, my guy, sorry, couldn't make the live." And then he's obviously laughing at Jay Friend's comment, because Jay Friend out here shaking ass on the fact that he can't deal with a blizzard. That if all people in Texas dealt with this type of blizzard, they be fucking flying out the day before, because they never really dealt with this shit.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Jay Friend. Rick in the building. Hashtag Black Express card, my guy. And he's laughing at the light comment. And then Jay Friend has another comment. He said hashtag GoFundMe for AP's late. Yeah,
I support it.
He's on
we
it.
We need some less. Yo, if I got if you guys could just get some money, it will definitely go towards lights and not, and I repeat, not anything else. So if you guys want to send me money, I will definitely spend it wisely.
Absolutely. But let's get into the next thing. Let's look at some highlights from today's game that only the Yankees were gracious enough to stream from the Yes Network. So
I'm glad that we got to whoop their ass.
Right, on their network. But
change up. He's got to get that back. Fly ball, right field, and that ball is gone.
Can we pause that for a sec? That? So, what are your thoughts on Jared Young and his potential to possibly be a bench piece for this team?
I mean, he could definitely be looked at as a possible DH, and again, it's not the best option, but you're talking about a guy that is a lefty, that when he does make contact, the ball does fly off his bat at times. The problem is that he's a bit inconsistent. He does strike out a lot. Not I wouldn't say a lot, but he does strike out in certain situations. And
I just think that the Mets right now, the way that they're constituted, I mean, I'm looking in terms of the infield as a backup infield. Obviously, we have Brett Beatty. So Brett Beatty and Vientos, one of them is going to be the designated hitter. One of them is going to be the bench, right? Then we have Torrens. So we have those two bats there. Then we have the outfield situation where we're obviously going to be carrying some outfielders too. So I'm trying to figure out how he's going to fit. I don't know if Young, based off the team right now, if there's a space for him. I'm trying to gauge it, but I just don't know where I see him, because we're gonna right now in the infield. I mean, we have Vidal Brujan, who's vying for a spot, and I think I mean I don't know if he's gonna make the team. I'm not, and who knows, but he's fighting for a spot. We have Melendez fighting for a spot. we have, I think Taylor is a sure shot in there, and then we have Young. And then we have Talkman, who hasn't reported yet. So, I mean, if we're keeping it real, I think Talkman is gonna have to take that spot. I can't see Talkman losing a spot over Young or Melendez, and I think that that Talkman is too valuable in terms of the type of hitter that he is and the
Right.
defense that he plays. That I wouldn't want to lose him compared to like as opposed to like a Young or Melendez. I could let those guys go to the minor leagues or leave the organization, whatever. But I just think it's interesting because Young does provide, some pop, but I think Talkman is a better overall player than pretty much all the guys I said. So I don't know if if he's going to be more than just like a spring training guy, and ultimately I don't know if he accepts a minor league assignment, but I think that we might be. He might be done with this team after the spring training is done, but you never know. If Talkman regresses or doesn't show anything, he has a shot if he could, provide some pop like he did today.
I mean, you're talking about a veteran in Mike Talkman. I think the only thing with Mike Talkman is that when it comes to the conversation of him and Vientos getting more, who's gonna get more at bats, and people kind of rely more on Talkman. My thing with Met fans is, unless you guys have seen, like, don't go based off numbers. I know they always say stats don't lie, but just don't go based off numbers. I want to have a conversation with the Met fans that have seen Mike Talkman play. How many Met fans out there on a regular day in the middle of a Wednesday went to the White Sox broadcast and said, "Yo, I'm gonna go check out Mike Talkman and see what he's gonna do today," and saw what he did last year. That's my thing. People just, oh, veteran, numbers. Sometimes it numbers don't always speak as well as you watching the guy every day. And again, I understand. Yes, he's a veteran. Yes, he can play the outfield. I understand that. You try to give him that opportunity, but at the same time, it's like we've always said before. Why are you automatically eliminating your potential of your young kid in Mark Vientos? Like that I never understand that. And I hate to bring the conversation back to Vientos, but that's just what it is. It's like we always compare it, we compare and contrast, and it's like, yeah, you guys never even seen a Mike Talkman game on a consistent basis to vouch for this kid as much as you did. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, it's a good pickup. It gives you more outfield depth. It gives you a guy that again is a left is gives you some type of veterancy at the plate, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you're automatically just gonna put a veteran that may not work here for a guy that has actually shown that, yes, I understand he kind of struggled last year, but in terms of constant playing time, it's only his second year. Let's be real. Before 2024, Buck Showalter wasn't giving him anything. Let's be honest. He wasn't playing him as much.
No, I think that what you do with Vientos, you can't sell low. I mean, if you're gonna get something like really worth it, maybe. But right now, you have your best bet with this team and the way it's made is to bank on him coming back. Look, even looking at today, and I know it's just the first spring training game, so I don't get too hyped up on or whatever. I'm not crazy. I think what I would like to see from him is him not expanding the strike zone. I want him to just stay within the zone because I think he got himself out a lot, and I think he's swinging out of his shoes sometimes. So I just don't want him. I don't want him like trying too hard to hit home runs. I think that what the approach should be with him, he has enough strength where if he gets a hold of one, he's gonna knock it out the park. So I think the approach with him is just to look for contact. I think that they have to really work on him being more of a contact kind of hitter. Like I think that the expanding the strike zone, not really thinking about the at bat, just swinging at anything. That approach is going to lead him to really sit down a lot of the time. So what I want him to do is just focus on what the plate is, have more plate discipline, and really, just being selective with his pitches.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. But let's continue on to some more highlights from today's game. Then we had Luis Torrens.
We're doing great. How about you?
Good. That might, and the wind today, that might be trouble.
Aaron doing good play-by-play. It was trouble, a home run, and the Mets lead.
How funny is that? He went yard while what's his name? While Aaron Boone was talking. Kind of like a kiss my ass type of moment. But I do want to say something about Luis Torrens, and I do want to give him his flowers because I feel like, we talk about Torrens, we give him his credit in terms of how good of a catcher that he is, but we don't really necessarily give the time to just give him his appreciation. This guy was picked up as a veteran that kind of people just laughed at because he was let go by the Yankees when he was in their system. Comes in, picks up for an injured Francisco Alvarez, and does a hell of a job in terms of putting the ball in place as a hitter in the bottom of the lineup, and is a very good defensive catcher. This guy needs to get his respect, but given his flowers because of the fact that he picked up after our primary catcher who went down and really surprised a lot of people. Luis Torrens is definitely making the opening day roster. I don't see why not. He does deserve his flowers. He's a really good catcher. And again, he does, when he is hitting consistently, you can see it. You see it I know this is spring training, but a lot of the times the ball comes off his bat. This guy always gets on base. He has a little bit of power, and he can definitely be a good option to continue his role as a second option for a backup catcher.
I think that was one of the smartest moves the Mets made, picking him up. The guy is a weapon as a defensive catcher. Like, you don't run on Torrens. He really shuts down teams' run game. He calls a good game. He has that pop. He held us down when Alvarez was down for a while. So I love the fact that he's our number two. I need Alvarez to have a healthy year though, because I don't want to overexpose Torrens, but shout out to Torrens. I think it was a really smart move. You don't have a lot of catchers in this league where backup catchers where you feel confident in them playing in the game. Like I absolutely have loved everything that he's brought to this team, and I think that we want to just continue to see him grow. I can't say enough good things about him because I really do think that he has been more valuable to this team than we even thought of when we brought him in. Like for us to get him kind of like as a throwaway from the Yankees, like that's the impressive part, because nobody would have thought that he would have had such an impact coming into this team as he's had. So really happy that we got him and that he's been, doing his thing.
Absolutely. Speaking of Alvarez, because I think that's a good way to pivot. Do you think that he is the wild card for this lineup coming into this season?
I mean, Alvarez to me is walking into a basically a prove it year. He's had flashes, but then it's like starts and stops, a lot of injuries, derailing like a promising start to his career. And we have got to finally start seeing what we have from him. So I really want to see him do well on this team and really come into his own. I think that it's important for us to see what he has. And I don't know, I know that injuries as a catcher is part of the game, but I really just want to make sure that he can stay healthy. And really, in terms of your question, I think Alvarez is one of those big X factors. I think that we talked about Vientos, and I think Alvarez is another one. The Mets have a lot of what ifs, but Alvarez is a huge what if. If Alvarez is able to help us offensively and be there for the majority of the season, I think the Mets lineup could be one of the best lineups in baseball. Because imagine what that bottom of that lineup looks like if Alvarez is hitting.
Right.
He's not going to have any weak spots. So I think that he definitely absolutely lengthens this lineup if he's doing what he needs to do.
Absolutely. And again, this comes into a situation where your lineup is so top heavy that with his consistency, with him staying healthy, like AP said, what he does for that bottom of the lineup adds so much value to this team in terms of his power, his contact, a guy that again, not when he is on top of his game and he's not overdoing, he's not over swinging, he's not trying to chase so much. This is a guy that can definitely have an outbreak season this year, and I'm excited. Again, I think the number one concern, and like AP was touching on, is his health. If this guy can stay healthy, you are going to see a much better Francisco Alvarez, especially when he's not doing too much. This guy does when he doesn't overthink. Francisco Alvarez is a much better player, and we really haven't seen that since 2023. That's the most concerning thing. 2023, he was just following the pitch, going wherever the pitch was located, driving the ball the other way, attacking the middle of the strike zone, and just being himself, showing his power, even on his defense. Right, his defense on at the plate was always coming into question. Right, it was always about what is he going to clean up defensively? Is he going to stop letting a lot of balls pass by going under him? At the end of the day, when he's healthy, these are things that he can address little by little. And I think again, the regimen for him is not to do so much. And I think Carlos Mendoza and David Stearns are doing a very good job of not putting him in so many games to start in spring training, so he can kind of find his rhythm and kind of not be overused so much. And to be honest with you, I know this hasn't really been spoken about a lot, but I do think he probably is going to start opening day. But I do think they treat him like a Mitchell Robinson, like how the Knicks have him playing maybe 1 or 2 games and then he has a day off, only because of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think that in a 3-game series, you'll see Torrens play one of those games. I think it's gonna
Absolutely,
be
yeah.
it'll be 2 games on, a game off. I think that that's the best, and it's the smart approach. I think that Alvarez has to be treated with kid gloves. Like I just don't. I don't trust him to stay healthy, and he's too much of a valuable piece to have him get hurt.
Absolutely right. You gotta, and again, I think this works out for not Mark Vientos, excuse me, Francisco Alvarez and Luis Torrens. Where if you have Francisco Alvarez maybe playing 1 or 2 games, and then that third game you have Luis Torrens come in, or you have it where Francisco Alvarez comes in for the first game, Luis Torrens plays the second game, Francisco Alvarez plays the third game. Ways where both guys can to stay healthy, even though Luis Torrens he's more durable than Francisco Alvarez, but at the end of the day, giving them both playing time, giving them ample time to kind of just be in the games, get comfortable, whatever. But you gotta make sure that you're doing whatever you can to make sure that your valuable piece in Francisco Alvarez is completely healthy and he doesn't have to deal with any more injuries. Because at some point, if this keeps happening, you're gonna have to have a conversation in terms of either we figure something out health wise or we're gonna have to move you. And of course, that's the last thing you want, because we've seen this kid come through your system and really do so much in terms of just finding consistency here. But yeah, let's get back into the highlights as we go. This was pretty much a home run derby for
Just as we mentioned, I felt really good, felt strong, very happy with the outcome today with the first one, and executing pitches. At this time of camp, that's what you want. You want consistently executing pitches.
Is there anything specifically?
He brings a little bit of power. He's a solid defender in terms of behind the plate, and again, just a guy that, like I said, he makes solid contact, can give you more depth in the catching position. He was brought up a couple times last year, really didn't do much, but at the end of the day, when you have so much, um, when you have so much depth in that position, and something happens within a Luis Torrens or Francisco Alvarez, you can definitely count on him to add you that depth. And I do think that it's going to be Francisco Alvarez and Luis Torrens to start, and then he'll start, and then Hayden Sanger will start in AAA. But again, I think people are kind of sleeping on the catching depth that we have. I see Chris in the comments. He says if Alvi and Vientos can hit 25 plus homers, we are cooking. 100%. 100%. That's with the notion that they're both healthy and that they're giving us that they're given ample time to do what they need to do. But yeah, it's nice to see Hayden Singer get that opportunity. It's nice to see Hayden Singer go deep and really give you something, because like I said, that could be a guy that's also showing, listen, you guys gave me an opportunity last year, and I feel like I can show something. And then again, not only did he hit a home run,
felt pretty good.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the fun you guys were having over at the Himes complex earlier today. It seemed like there was a little competition.
You're not running on him. You're not running on that arm.
Absolutely. And we apologize on the fact that we have to do it through the Yankees broadcast, but apparently SNY they were too tired from yesterday, so I kind of get it, and it's okay. But here's another one where this was the game winner.
Could that say, is that a better way to win? I don't necessarily think so, because they didn't score more runs. Schwartz hits one deep to right field. That ball is gone. Onto the pavilion.
May the Schwartz be with you.
For Schwartz.
Baseball
lead 6-1.
Say that again.
Man, it's an old movie. May the Schwartz be with you.
Oh, okay. Well, shout out to him as well. JT Schwartz, another lefty that is a really good contact hitter. If you watch the minors, he's a really good contact hitter, as I watched last year and the year before. And again, guys that are giving you contact, and again, AP, I think the crazy part about this too is, have you noticed that this is what we're looking for in terms of this team this year? Contact consistently, not striking out a lot, guys being able to not come through with runners in scoring position. If you get guys like that on a consistent basis, especially your young kids, David Stearns is cooking something in terms of the philosophy that he is following coming into this.
I mean, and one of the things that I've been seeing pop up on my feed the last two games from like the pitch profiler account is just how much they have loved some of the Mets pitchers that they've seen coming up into these games. Like Mike Baumann today, like they absolutely loved him, and they're raving about the pitchers that they're seeing in camp with the Mets. So Stearns is doing something. Stearns is definitely cooking up something, because a lot of people are taking notice about the Mets farm system, and it's exciting to see that, because for a long time nobody cared about anybody that we had in this farm, and this year, like, you're hearing a lot of prospects and what they have to bring. So I love to see it, even especially with our hitters too. Like, it's dope to see that we have so many young guys that could try to, like, come up and push some of the veterans from some playing time.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. But that would be the game-winning hit. Well, not the game-winning, but that would be the icing on the cake, as the Mets would almost squander the game right after that home run by JT Schwartz, but they would hold on to win by 6-4, getting their first spring training W. And yeah, just again, I think this is more of a situation where you just want to see more of your young guys and what opportunities they can give and what they can show you before obviously making that decision of who's going to make the opening day roster and who's going to be here more consistently. And like I said, I think everybody's kind of just watching on Carson Bench and what he does, because he's been spoken about so much and so highly by the president of baseball operations, David Stearns. So the last thing that I want to get to before we kind of wrap it up, because again, there's really not that much to talk about, and me and AP kind of simmered it down just to what we saw from yesterday and today. Like I said, game one, there really wasn't much. There was more action today, and the Mets were able to grab a victory. But the one thing that I want to ask AP, and for any of you guys that want to answer this question in the comments, feel free to do so. AP, what is your notion on the starting pitching? Who do you think is going to be a wild card within the starting rotation? I was going to ask this last week with Chris, but it completely slipped. Who is your wild card coming out of that?
To me, I think the pitching, the starting pitching has the potential to be like really, really good. I'm looking forward to seeing what McLean could do for a full year. We have a full year of Peralta, so that's exciting. So I think it's in terms of the X factor. I think it could be one of two people. To me, if Singa could give you a healthy season, I think Singa can propel this pitching staff to an upper plateau. I think that we could be an upper tier pitching staff if Singer is healthy and pitching the way that we've seen him do it. Peterson's another one. Peterson, we saw he was taking it up a notch, and then I don't know, he fell off a cliff by the end of it. I don't know if it was injury or it was just a lot of pitching because he's been injured. And pitching all those games, but he was having an all-star season. I honestly think that either one of those guys, if they could give you the season that we envision for them, can really change this potential for this starting staff. Because if you get Holmes comes back and gives you the same season, then you got Mania there. You got a Christian Scott in the wings. You got Jonathan Tong. I think we have a deep rotation that could bring up some guys that you're not gonna be nervous about coming into any game. So I think that the starting pitching is where this year is gonna be made with the Mets. I think that the starting pitching is going to be better than maybe some even out there think, but I think that they have a real legitimate shot to be special.
Absolutely. I think for me, and I see Chris here commented on the question. He said, my wild card is Manaea. I'm going to be honest with you. I see a lot of people saying Sean Manaea, which is very understandable. However,
you got to be healthy. You got to be healthy.
Right. My wild card, and I think this is more of, motherfucker, you better be a wild card because we're counting on you, is a Kodai Senga. Kodai Senga needs to show that he is the guy that was basically all this hype when we signed him back in the offseason of 2023. There is and here's why I don't want to sound like I'm harsh, but this is kind of why I put it in the way that I put it, because the Mets have done everything to lay out the red carpet for you. They have gone based on your regimen. They have gone to 6-man rotation. They have gone to an extra day within your, rest for you to stay as healthy as you can. And I get part of that was because of Pete Alonso. Again, we call him the injury player because he injures. Well, he can't throw. And so many guys get injured because of his ugly throws. But at the same time, it's like, okay, enough's enough. Pete Alonso's not here. They got rid of the ghost. Okay.
No more hamstring injuries for you.
No more. That's it. You should be.
No, but Top, I think that one of the things that we have got to concentrate on is making sure that these pitchers give you at least 6. I think that we have got to push these guys. We cannot settle for 4 1/3, not finishing 5. We have got to get these pitchers to get. We burnt out this bullpen to the point of no return last year, and that is what I ultimately blame for the season going to crap, is the fact that none of these starting pitchers could go more than 5 at best. We have got to get these pitchers to give you 6 innings. It's not good enough to have a 5-inning start at best, because you're asking 4 innings every day, and that's too much.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It's in a situation like even AP's daughter.
As you can see, my daughter didn't like that either. She's like, 5 innings? I don't want no parts of that.
Yeah, no. She didn't like that. No. She was like, no, we don't want it. Nah, I don't care. listen, I eventually, when I get to an older age, I'm going to remember why I was complaining, and it's gonna happen during my era. I don't want it. No, I'm letting you know now, so you guys know as older selves that I don't like it.
Oh man, she's really really adamant about those pitchers going 6 innings. Really adamant.
She's like, no,
I know, baby. I hear you.
5. I want 6. That's what I want. But yeah, man, no. Listen, the more consistent that this rotation is, the better that they will get. And again, it all starts with one guy. And again, he was traded here. It's Freddie Peralta. He's your number one option right now. So how he does, I think the rotation will pick that up. Hell, I think if Nolan McLean duplicates what he did last year, the rotation will pick up even better. But again, it's they're most likely, from what it's going to be, they're going to be a number 1, 2 in within your rotation. But there's a lot of question marks, but there's a lot of interesting pieces in this rotation that I'm very excited to see do well. Again, you're talking about a Freddie Peralta, how he's going to do in a new scenery with a new team. He seems very excited. So how is he going to do on a new scenery? You're talking about a second year of Nolan McLean. We already saw the spectacular half that he had and how well he was able to do here when he was called up under pressure. You're talking about a Clay Holmes who really did good for us. Again, he had some starts where they were a little bit shaky, but again, finished with a 12-6 record. He finished with 3 point a ERA in the threes. You're talking about a Shamanaya, where if he's fully healthy, can give you at least with a more bullpen that has depth, right? You're talking about Tobias Myers, who can give you multiple innings in the pen, that can also be a starter, right? But if you're talking about Shamanaya that can only give you 5, you bring in a guy like Tobias Myers in certain situations when Shamanaya is starting. And then you're talking about a Senga, where, like I said before,
you could also do the piggyback. I think that's another option that you could do. You could put Senga and Manaya back to back.
I absolutely agree. You talk about that in that scenario, right? Then again, like I said, we talk about Senga. Senga was always looked at as our ace, as our number 1. Now that he's not our number 1, how much pressure that takes off of him to go back to the Senga that we saw.
And that's why I think he's an X factor, because I think that now, knowing that he's not going to be throwing against other teams' ace, but going against like a number 3 or number 4, you could make the argument that if Senga is healthy and pitching like we've seen him throw, he could be a really strong 3 or 4 pitcher, if not one of the best. Because how many teams can go 3, 4, 5 pitchers into it? Now, Manaya's health is a big concern for me. I'm really concerned about Manaya because I don't know what he is. Based off last year, based off the loose bodies, based off not getting the surgery. There's a lot of the arm slot. He was getting lit up in batting practice. I don't know what he is. So I'm very concerned. If there's one pitch I'm concerned about, it is Manaya. I don't know what Manaya is. I think he's a wild card, but not for the reasons that I would like him to be. I think the X factor to me that propels us, I think, is Senga, but I think the wild card that could cause major damage is Manaya, and how much rope we're gonna give him, because Absolutely. I don't know how much you could give this guy when you got some minor league dudes knocking at the door.
Absolutely. Yep. There's a lot of pressure for these guys to kind of duplicate what they did in 2024, man. Honestly, it's we're so far removed from 2024. We're a much better team. We're a much different team. The strategy is different. The philosophy is different. Like this right here is David Stearns' team now. This is the team that he wants. This is his team. This isn't remember when he came in here, the players, these aren't the players that he wanted. These are the players that he wants. This is his team now, constructively from top to bottom, how his vision is and what he wanted to be. So now we're going into the season seeing if we can be the team that we were supposed to be last year that we didn't succeed with. And again, I think it'll work out well. I know there's a lot of question marks from, Jorge Polanco playing a position he's never played in his career. Same thing with Bo Bichette. But again, these guys are veterans. These guys knows what it takes. I know Chris kind of mentioned it in our last episode when it came to Bo Bichette. Like, it is a different situation when you're dealing with a bullet going to third base compared to shortstop or second base. Like, it's a much different situation. That's why it's hard to play the hot corner. But at the end of the day, Bo Bichette, I think, is going to be good for the job, and I think he's here to do what he wants to do, and that's be a better monster than when he was in Toronto. This is going to be a year where if he can stay healthy, that 42 million is not looking so bad. I know everybody's kind of talking about, oh, we paid him 42 million. At the end of the day, it's not going to look so bad if he gives you the production with giving
I
Toronto.
didn't see nobody crying when he had the year that he had, and everybody was like clamoring for him to come back.
Right,
Honestly,
exactly.
I think that we paid for the awesome that he did. Like, if we would have let him walk, everybody would have had a conniption. So it it's easy to talk about stuff
Right.
after we see like the bad stuff happen. But
Right.
I don't know. I think that we have a lot of what ifs, but I happen to think that the starting pitching, I think, is going to be strong. I think that if, like, knock on wood, there's no injuries or anything like that, we have a potential to be a really strong starting pitching, and I think that the team is going to be led by that starting pitching. So we just got to really, like I said, I think the key to the Mets is the Mets should be aiming for 6 innings. 6 innings. 6 innings should be, and it's crazy to me that that's that low. But I feel like 6 innings should be the marker, because we saw what happened when you only aim for 5. Like, it's not good enough. It burns out your pen. You don't have the bullpen arms aren't necessarily the I don't know, the shutdown ones that we have. I mean, they have the potential for it, but even if they were, I wouldn't want to have my bullpen exposed every single night. Like, I don't want my bullpen going 4 innings. I don't think there's a team in baseball that could withstand 4 innings every game. Like, name me a bullpen that that every night they have to throw 4 innings. I don't think that that's a winning formula.
Absolutely. No, I perfectly said. Perfect way to end it. I appreciate everybody tuning in, everybody in the comments for keeping us active. We appreciate
I
y'all.
want to
AP,
give a big shout out to Some Way to Shay giving
yes,
us the love. He is going to be doing a live in about 30 minutes. One of the most knowledgeable fans out there, so definitely check him out. I know that we're going to try to see if we could get him on the show, because I'd love to be
it's
able to
in the
pick his
works right
brain
now.
and see what he thinks about the team. So that'd be dope. But everybody in New York, be safe. Be safe
Yes.
out there. If you don't gotta be out there, stay home. Chill out, watch a movie. Just you don't gotta do nothing. Then why be out there? Don't be like Chris. You don't gotta be out there. Be home. Be home.
Absolutely. Yeah, please
Man,
stay
for real,
safe,
for
man.
real.
Yeah, man. Please stay safe. Do what you gotta do to stay inside. It is ugly outside, man. We just got through one snowstorm, and we're about to get even a worse one. So please stay safe, man. If you gotta call out of work, call out of work. Please don't force yourself. Keep the kitty safe, man, and stay warm and toasty in there. But like I said, we do appreciate y'all for giving us your time today. Obviously,
Yeah.
it was a one-man show today.
Top.
Shout out to you.
Top, I just want to, and I know I keep like interrupting
Oh,
you, my
go ahead.
bad.
Go ahead. You good, you
But
good.
I think that my daughter was cool with what I said the last time, because she's just chilling here. Right? You're okay with it? You're okay with it? Yeah? Yeah. See, I think she was cool with it. So I think that she liked the last part of it. Or maybe it's Rachel on TV. I don't know. One of the two.
It's probably Rachel.
Yeah, more
Shout
than
out to
likely
her,
it
man.
is.
She's adorable, man.
Miss Rachel, thank you. Thank you for helping us.
Chris said I made it home safe.
Oh, there you
Appreciate
go. You didn't need a map to get back home.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully you and wife are good, Chris. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody, man. Appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, make sure you guys follow the Seven Express podcast on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you guys follow AP at scientific_1, and make sure you guys follow me at Top Bunk Sports on X, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will check.
Top is definitely gonna tell you all about that Nick 18-point comeback last night.
It's gonna happen. No,
Yeah.
I already did the video. It's out there. Make sure you guys
Although they're losing to the Bulls tonight, which is driving me crazy. So there's that.
they're losing by 3, so it's not that bad. But funny enough, Yabusele, who we just traded to the Bulls, is killing us.
Because of course he would.
Yeah,
of course he
typical
would.
Knicks bullshit. So,
Yeah.
but now enough of that. Make all my Knicks fans enjoy the game and enjoy enjoy watching this infiltration, because that's what it is, man. It's so frustrating. It's so ugly, but it's the same thing with the Mets. Mets and Knicks always have.
It's the orange and blue. It's the orange and blue.
It is what it is, right? Appreciate you, AP. Appreciate everybody, and we will check you guys on the next live. Shout out to Bulls suck, whatever, Jay Farron, whatever. I don't care.
Nobody cares about the Bulls.
Jay Farron rubbing it in my face, but he's a
Oh
Bulls
man,
fan.
pause.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to y'all, man. We check y'all.
Oh my God.
Yo,